Another day on Whale Island.
OK, stand by, breathe in. And out. And in. And out. Portsmouth field gun crew. Ho! Steady double. March.
Breathing deep! Breathing down! Breathing one! Breathing four! Breathing six! Breathing out! Copy! Double breathing down! Copy! Concentration now, guys.
It's strictly men only. God here is the #1 trainer, Chief Petty Officer Pat Patilla.
Go out, back and home, clean, give steady drill. Don't chase nothing, just do your fucking job and do it deliberately. In your minds, run out. Happy? Yes, sir!
If they don't do as the trainer tells them, then they do get hurt, and they get hurt because they're throwing a ton and a half of equipment around at speed, and they're putting their body in the line. They volunteer to do that. And that's what field gun's all about.
It's a tightly choreographed orgy of aggression, violence, and inhuman strength. 18 men working as one, a well-oiled machine involving over 1,000 carefully rehearsed drills with split-second timing. The gun alone weighs as much as a car. It takes 3 months of intense training to learn how to make this look easy. Mistakes are measured in blood.
Round one!
Portsmouth A Crew's team captain is Nasty Neil Jones.
It must make you a better person because there's self-discipline you have to instill into yourself. This is the ultimate. It's the best leadership course in the Navy. You can't do any more than this.
Another field gun veteran is Kerry Packer.
Without, sounding arrogant in that, you've got to have something special inside yourself to be able to pick yourself up and go again and again and again for an 8-9 week season.
The men have just one purpose in life: to win the Royal Tournament. But nor is losing an option for their arch rivals, the Fleet Air Arm in Devonport. The sense of rivalry is so intense they even trade nicknames.
The Oggies, because they eat lots of passes and they're fat.
That's the Devonport.
That's the Devonport lot, yeah. And the Wafoos are wet and flipping useless.
That's the Fleet Air Arm.
That's the Fleet Air Arm, yeah.
And they call them the Pompey Faggots.
Hey! Go!
Barry Homer is the #2 trainer for the B Crew. They're the spare parts for the A Crew. Portsmouth's motto: to the limit and beyond. Literally.
You're just keeping out of the way of 9, basically. There's a modicum of pain that you have to go through. I mean, nobody carries 120 pound on the shoulders and doesn't feel any pain. Doesn't matter how big, strong, fast, athletic they are, they're going to feel pain. I've known guys run with breakages and amputations, and then they've been back on the track in a fortnight. It really is self-motivating. It gets in your blood and it, that's the way you react to it.
After every run, the men come here to the sick bay to see their agony aunts. Bad backs, torn ligaments, shredded muscles, and ripped abdomens. It's meat and drink to a field gunner.
How painful is it?
Probably very painful to a normal man.
You're going to carry on now?
Yeah.
This is like a little keepsake that the boys like to keep. It's a stitch board. So, say, for instance, Ginge Full and B Crew guy, he's had 11 stitches so far this season. Danny Manners, who's A Crew, he's had 19 and so on. I think we're pushing towards 100 at the moment, so quite nice figure.
Going to clean it. Okay. Do you want to clean it after she's done it?
Looking at the sick bay this time of morning, it's packed, isn't it?
Well, you look at the physio. It's hardly surprising, is it? No, at the end of the day, you know, people pick up knocks and stuff, and you just take painkillers. If you need a rub, get a rub, sort of thing, you know.
Rob De Silva started life in the A crew, but was forced out through injury.
The gun trapped my leg up against the wall, caused internal bleeding inside, which they cut there to release the pressure. Here, where you're trying to get on the track, you've got to do everything to try and get back early, because if they say to me in 5 weeks' time it'll be all right, 5 weeks' time it'll be over for me.
You must have been gutted when it happened, though.
Yeah, well, virtually nearly gutted, but just one of them things.
It takes 9 months before each man is physically strong enough and mentally prepared for the field gun. Having lost his place in the A crew, Rob De Silva is planning a comeback into the B crew, but there's already someone doing his job.
At the moment, I think that I can do a better job than the guy who's in there, but so does the guy who's in there. So I'll do anything I have to do to get in and keep the other guy out. And that's just to be a reserve.
The injury that he got was at this point here, where he was jammed between the hole in the wall and the breach. Quite a severe injury, actually, and it's kept him out for 2.5 weeks.
Your body will do whatever you tell it to, within reason, but it's the brain whereby I am scared of that now. They all know what happened here, so they're thinking, you know, is he going to do it again?
Because we slowed down, all right, we lost the impetus going through. You've got to allow your wheels to get through, otherwise you've got nothing to put on. See what I'm saying?
I just need a few of these under my belt, because at the moment it's just going like that. And then once you get that sorted, the more I do, the better I will feel.
To regain his confidence, Rob has to repeat the manoeuvre that crushed his leg time and time again. They do several runs a day.
Back, top, nice, loose.
Each begins with a workout and a chant against their arch enemies, the Wafus and the Oggies.
It's part of a long tradition that the Navy should be flexible and able to fight on land as much as at sea. For example, Nelson lost his eye fighting ashore in a campaign where he just dragged the guns with his sailors over very heavy terrain. And of course, it came to its height in the Victorian period when the Navy was used very much to help the army in campaigns all over the world, and often that help was given by fighting ashore with guns. The great and famous occasion was, of course, the siege of Ladysmith in 1899 during the Boer War, when the guns were dragged into Ladysmith at the last minute and saved the day by the sailors.
By 1913, it had become part of the Royal Tournament, celebrating the qualities of the men who built the world's greatest empire.
The field gun run is very much part of an old Navy, a Navy that needed a lot of strength, a lot of hard will in times of trouble. That's really not part of the Navy today. So I think that it's fair to say that the field gun run has come to the moment when it's good to say goodbye to it.
The crowds still come to Whale Island, This is one of the most important days in any field gunner's calendar.
How are you?
I'm well. You?
At this present moment in time, a little bit delicate.
Shirley, Sam Clues, yeah. There he is.
There's me and Ginger Turner, look.
That's right.
And Alan
There's
Crosby.
me, there's me there, isn't it? Well, he was a good
Bastard
bloke.
passed away.
Yeah, he died not long ago. Trev, he's now a millionaire, lives in Uruguay.
Today is the day that most field gunners despise. It's reunion day, where all those legends of days gone by come down and tell you how bad you are and how good they were. Basically, reunion day, they all come down, 2 weeks before Rules Court, see how things are going, give us a bit of support. Verbal. The longer the day goes on, the beer flows and the louder the vocal support gets.
What's he struggling? Struggling, look. 1, 2, 3.
Right. Bad news, that is.
Go,
Bang, bang.
bang.
Well ahead.
Wasted. Bang.
Missed out.
Sorry for that.
The decision to scrap the field gun has already been made, but officially it's still a secret. Everyone here is talking about it.
It's very sad, yeah.
It's sad, but I mean, times change.
I think when they told us it was all finishing, it's like a stab in the back, isn't it?
It's got nothing to do with money. It's manpower. They just can't get people. I mean, Fleet Air are rubbish this year because all their guys are out on aircraft carriers. And I mean, you're talking highly skilled people now. I mean, what we used to do, we were all gunners. Most of us were seamen and gunners. I mean, these guys, they're working computers and they're putting fuel into rockets and God knows what. Well, yeah, there ain't no bloody guns anymore.
The Royal Navy says they will keep field gunning alive. This is Brickwoods. They do it in their lunch breaks. That too, they say, helps build teamwork and leadership. And it has some other similarities.
It's fantastic fun. I think the teamwork is excellent, the camaraderie that builds up. I think also one of the main reasons for me is the sort of respect and the trust that you build up for people, irrespective of rate and rank, is great.
You don't get any qualities whatsoever in Brickwoods compared with Command Field Gun. All they do is young, inexperienced men running up and down the car park, changing wheels. That's not Field Gun. All Brickwoods is men doing what Sea Cadets do. But they've got Wrens doing Brickwoods. That's not to be. But it may be the future of Field Gun in its name. It won't take or replace Field Gun. Nothing will.
But it does appeal to some ex-field gunners, like Stuart Moss.
It's a shame Command Field Gun's going. It really is. Just the traditions that go back to 100 years ago. But I'm pleased to hear that they're keeping this going because it keeps a bit of field gun there, even if it's not the real thing.
Confidence is high. Only way to keep it there, clean run out. Confidence is good with you. Confidence in each other. All we should be thinking about now, first action.
It's what's kept me in the Navy for a long time. I've been in 35 years now, and 25 of that I've been doing field gun. And I see every year the Navy get better men back at sea having been to field gun. And you can ask any captain of any ship who his best men are on his ship. If he's got field gunners, they'll be part of it.
Crews, stand by, go!
Despite his injury, Rob De Silva is fighting for Ginge Fullen's place in the B crew.
Dog eat dog, and I really hope he doesn't get it, and he thinks the same. But we'll still be mates afterwards, I think.
Rob and Ginge are doing alternate runs. Their future in the last gun race will depend on a decision by the number 2 trainer.
To see a grown man cry is commonplace. It gets them. It's a very, very emotional sport. Field gun gets in your blood, and once you've had a taste, it's there all your life.
Field Field gunners say no injury is as painful as not running at Earl's Court.
It's difficult because I don't want to wish bad on him, but then again, I don't want him to do too well either. So if something big and heavy fell on him, I wouldn't be all that upset. But he's got a bad hand, he's got stitches in his finger, and he can't hold on to the travel all that well. So that's pleasing.
2 days ago, the gun, we was doing a run-up and the gun run over the foot. And consequently, I've got a couple of fractures in my foot, but we're still running. Hopefully the pain will subside. If not, they've got some good painkillers on the market.
I don't agree with all the damage that he does to himself. I think it's totally absurd.
What does it mean to him, do you think?
Well, at the moment, everything, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no other conversation. But, no, it's the last one as well that it's a pride thing, really, isn't it? Very proud.
Field gunners' wives stand no chance in the face of the men's obsession. Most elect to join them, helping out where they can. For a total of 4 months, there's no room in these men's lives for any normal human activity.
The guys lead such a physical life down here that the sex life, etc., goes out the window because they're dedicated to field gun, and they eat, sleep and drink it, and at the end of the day, the only thing they're doing is resting and for the following day's activities. So, you know, your relationship at home goes out the window, really.
First trainer told us it's quite hard for the wives because basically the men don't have sex and things like that. Is that true?
Well, perhaps he doesn't. I can't know. I don't know what he does. We still manage.
Meanwhile, Rob's done all he could to prove himself a better man than Ginge Fullen for that coveted place.
Well, I think the decision's been made already, hasn't it? Really, by virtue of that. I mean, technically, Fullen's the better man by virtue of the fact he's been in longer and worked with Smith longer. Yeah. But for sheer strength, De Silva gets the nod. You know, it'll be a sad loss to lose Fullen because he's been a good, you know, he's 100% a good crew man. But, you know, no sentiment involved, is there?
Rob's place is assured. For the trainers, though, the work carries on, trying to find ways to shave off precious seconds on the running times.
Well, he's got to clear that before he can even think about getting his 10 foot out. That's a better sequence, look. That's a better sequence.
I'm trying to find fault on video now.
Well, it's micro fielding it now, isn't it? Yeah. That'll frighten them to death at Earl's Court, man. Frighten them to death.
The men arrive 3 days before the Royal Tournament opens.
Neil, what happened to your eye?
Got myself shaving.
Waiting for them are the Devonport team.
Walk in the park. Yeah. Who's Portsmouth? Sorry? The Noah's another crew.
Portsmouth hold the world record here, 2 minutes, 40.6 seconds. Devonport, though, are confident.
Team's doing very well. We've pulled off some tremendous times, and at public run week past Thursday, we did a better time than the Earl's Court record.
Just check that board. Competition starts Tuesday. No, 2:40 doesn't mean anything, does it? Competition starts Tuesday. All right, and they haven't seen us yet.
They'll have to fight very, very hard to beat us this year because we're in a very, very good position. And I don't give a damn what they've done down there. There's 3 teams up here. Portsmouth, who will be successful. Devonport will come second, and Fleet Air Arm will be third. Remember where you heard it first.
While rehearsals are in full swing, the government finally announces the scrapping of the field gun. Preparations for the last run continue. They'll spend the next 2 weeks living in improvised barracks. And the Royal Tournament is also being scrapped. The reason for both decisions is manpower.
We do have a great shortage in the Navy today. We've got a lot of manpower that is short, that they're a very great stretch, and it is, I'm afraid, too much now for the Navy to bear. We have, in the field gunners, we have about 160 personnel tied up for nearly 3 months. So you're tying up, a large amount of ships' companies in that field gun. So it is extremely expensive.
No real surprise, was it? They made up their minds. Come out with all the looks that they normally come up with when they make a decision like that. Yeah, absolutely disgusting. Well, I think the Navy's going to suffer a lot because of it. The calibre of men you're going to recruit, I think, is already taking a dive because of the way society's gone. Weaker, smaller, less motivated people than they were, like us. And unfortunately, that's going to reflect in the Navy.
Ian Gelboy Rembridge, or Remy to his friends, is one of 4 men, all from the same ship and running with the Portsmouth field gun. While they're at Earl's Court, their ship, HMS Fearless, is moored up in Portsmouth Naval Base.
It's been getting more and more difficult over a number of years. As ships have less and less people in their ships' companies, of course, every single person counts even more than they have done in the past. And it may well be that the very person that the field gun team want has a particular trade or specialisation that we would miss.
Remy is a specialist in sensors and communications. While he's away, his colleagues have to share his workload.
What does it mean for you personally in your department?
In the department, it means I lose 25% of my leading hands. So that puts the rest of them of a strain for doing the work. And on the section that the field gunner works on, in this case, it reduces the manpower by 50%, which leaves 1 man on call 24 hours a day.
For over 100 years, the Royal Tournament has been the shop window for the armed forces. It's the first race. Pompey against Devonport. For the physios, it's just too painful to watch. They lose by 23 seconds, a huge margin. For the captain, Neil Jones, things go from bad to worse. Clinically, he's dead, but he's resuscitated, hospitalised, and out of the team. In the B crew, meanwhile, the broken foot hasn't been healing all that well.
Went for an X-ray again today, and they've picked up another fracture in my ankle and a depression in my shin bone, basically. So just go out and do the runs, rest it in 2 weeks, and it'll go into plaster in 2 weeks. Haven't come this far to give up now.
But despite their injuries, over the 2 weeks of races, they go on to take the B Crew trophy. Outside, the Royal Navy is projecting its new image. It's more about hard wiring than hard men. The recruits of the future come from a very different world. Ex-field gunner Tom Foley ran for Portsmouth in 1965.
Before, they used to have the field guns on display, so they could actually see them with the weights and that sort of thing. But they don't seem to have that now. But here, the youngsters are out to see the high-tech stuff. This is what gets the youngsters interested in the Navy and eventually joining the services.
We are looking forward with modern ships, modern sailors who will be fit and will be equally good at teamwork. But the 21st century is what we want to show to the public This has been a wonderful time at the Royal Tournament, and for many, many years now, people have been coming here and seeing what we did in the past. We want people to see what we do in the future.
Last week, old field gunners came from around the world for a special parade. It was organised at the request of the Queen. 8 bells were sounded. Aboard a ship, that means the end of the watch.
Right, solidarity now, isn't it? The final chapter. Go out and enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, f***ing enjoy it. Happy, lads?
Yes, sir!
Let's f***ing go then.
For the very last run, all the field gunners donned black armbands. They were disobeying strict orders. Portsmouth had one of their worst ever tournaments. Devonport swept the board and they set a new world record. At the end of the race, hundreds of field gunners poured into the arena. And in front of the royal box, they unfurled banners. It was an act of mass disobedience, and the crowd loved it.
Devonport, all around it. And the 1999 Devonport name will be on there forever.
Well, as I said before, if courage, stamina, leadership are the wrong image, then I'm obviously in the wrong job.